Hey guys, this is Bob Merrick, the host of The Baub Show, the official morning show here on UBN Radio. We like to accentuate the positive in pop culture, human interest stories, and I don't know what else. Check us out from 9 to 11 a.m. on ubnradio.com.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, what are you saying? Welcome back to the show.
He understands.
No, that's what I'm afraid of. I had my headphones on, so I don't know what you're saying. I feel like you're...
Well, clearly.
Welcome.
I'm going to go home and tell Steven that I'm leaving him.
Welcome back to the show, you guys. I'm Bob Merrick, and I'm sitting here with my very special, and I do mean special co-host, Romy Rosemont, who will be on Glee this evening. You want more applause?
Yeah.
No, the applause is going to Vytas. Oh, God. Here, you can have this.
That's a courtesy applause.
Okay, well then we're going to save this because I'm super excited because he's one of my favorite players this season on the new season of Survivor. Please welcome Vytas to the show. There you go, see? That's what Romy wanted. I can't even try to pretend to pronounce your last name.
Yeah, I don't think you should try.
How do you say your last name?
Well, my last name is Baskauskas.
Baskauskas.
My mom always had a story. You know, there's different types of cows. There's, cows in the field, cows in the mountains, and there's bush cows. And when bush cows fall in love, bush cows kiss. So that's how.
Bushkowskis.
No, Baskauskas.
Bushkowskis.
I love that so much.
It's going to be my new last name.
Bushkowskis. Bushkowskis.
Very excited.
That is a really good one. I love that. Vytas, let's talk about this and especially you had a crazy night last night. And I know this is one of those weird things. Like I'm so torn because I know that we're only 3 weeks into the show, but then there's so many things that I know we can't talk about. That's for everybody out there listening. But obviously we can talk about these first 3 episodes, and I already want you to come back because I can just tell the season's going to be crazy. But let's talk about last night's Tribal Council.
Oh my God, last night was a shocker. I was completely stunned. I'm a huge fan of Survivor. I've watched almost every season. I was a fan even before my brother went on the show. So I've watched, countless episodes of this show. And what happened at Tribal Council in last night's episode was, as it was playing out, when we shot it, I was so surprised that Caleb switched his vote last minute. We were all walking into Tribal Council. It was Sierra. She was going home. The guys were still together. Sierra was going home. It was just a done deal. And then all of a sudden, Caleb dropped this bomb on us that, I'm voting out Brad. Oh my God, I was shy. I had no idea that was coming, and I was completely blindsided by that. For me, Brad was my key to go far in this game because Brad is such a big target.
Now why? Because I think that's an important thing to tell people because we're all sitting at home being like, get rid of this guy. This guy is dictating everything. He thinks he's got all the power. The more power he gets, the more his ego is blowing up. Like it was. So we're rooting for him to go home. And even last week, watching Hayden sort of go back and forth, and then he did it even last night. He scribbled it out. We watched him scribble it out, going back and forth. I was so happy that you did it, by the way. I really was. I was like, as soon as you did, I was like, oh, thank you, Vytas. You made the right move. But that's interesting. You would want to keep him in the game because you knew that he would stay a target.
Yeah, I wanted to keep Brad around because I'm a strong guy. My brother's a strong guy. If we make it to the merge together, we'll be a pair of strong guys, and we'll be the big target. If Brad is still there, Brad is the biggest target. So for me, hiding behind a guy like Brad is my best strategy.
I'm way too codependent for a game like this. I'd be like, go ahead. Really. No.
Go ahead. It's your turn.
You guys go ahead.
And the unfortunate thing is on the Twitterverse and the blogosphere, everybody is, Brad is kind of getting a bad rap. But Brad was so much fun out there. We fished every day. His jokes, he was really the tribe leader. And it comes from just who he is with football and his career. And he was so much fun to be around. And, I didn't want to see him go, not only for personal reasons, but for strategy. And, when Caleb threw that wrench into the mix of I'm voting out Brad, it completely blindsided me, and things had to change immediately because what happened was the vote was tied 3-3.
Yeah.
And so what they didn't show on the episode was that Survivor rules state that if it's a tie the second time, what happens is the people that are being voted for are immune So Brad and Sierra would have been immune.
And they would have stayed.
They would have stayed no matter what. And then the 4 of us would have had to draw rocks. And that's a 1 in 4 chance for me to go home that early in the game.
Yeah. For no reason.
For no reason. I was shocked that Hayden didn't change his vote. Like, you really want to draw rocks at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see if, the girls obviously had to stay with it. That was their only play. For them, drawing rocks was their best play. For me, I feel like I still had some sort of play in this game besides just drawing rocks, and I was not going to leave it to chance at that moment in time.
Which again, I'm happy that you did. But is it what is it like watching it on TV? Like, do you still feel the same way about Brad, or have you sort of like seen it from a different perspective now that you're watching it on TV?
No, it's
or like you just said, because also there's a lot of stuff is edited out. So.
Yeah, I mean, so much stuff they don't show. I gotta imagine there's so much good footage on the editing room floor that they don't use. Like, so many times that we laughed and things that happened.
Well, they're telling a story. I mean, and that's always the kind of argument about reality television is how real is it? Because it is their responsibility to still make entertaining television.
Mm-hmm. And they're turning Brad into more of a villain than he probably is.
Oh, they definitely are. And it's unfortunate, me and Brad are really close. And, we texted yesterday before the episode, after the episode. He just shot me a few texts in the green room, and he's like top 10 on Yahoo trending right now. And like, he's really excited about that. But it's interesting to watch it. Like, I was curious, like, how true to the actual story that they were gonna edit it. And it is like pretty much exactly what happened. They can't show everything in, a short hour episode, but I was also wondering at this point in the game, 3 episodes in, like, I still feel like I'm pretty much in control of what's happening. But I was
for
myself.
Yeah.
I was curious to see, was I really in control? Were people's, off, side interviews with the producers, were they saying that, oh, I really buy into what Vytas is saying, or were they bad mouthing me on the side? So kind of watching it just confirms, my belief that I was kind of running things on our tribe at this point, and I was kind of in control, and I was in control as far as information is concerned.
Yeah.
Because for Survivor, it's a game about information. And if you have the information, then you're in a good place. And
yeah.
I haven't seen anything yet that I didn't know about.
But why do you think, because I think this is also part of the problem that I was having with Brad, I feel like he keeps getting out these, like, taking out these people that's why you keep losing. Like, you're getting out these strong players, and then the strong players, everybody knows, you go into Survivor, you keep the strong players the first half of the game, then you get rid of the weak players, and then you get rid of the strong players in the second half of the game once that you've merged. But in the beginning, you need to win those challenges, and you guys are not winning any of those challenges, and you keep, no disrespect to any of the girls out there, but you guys keep getting out all the big, strong guys and not winning any of these competitions. What's the thought process there?
Well, I mean, look at the first challenge. We had a huge lead that first episode. The way they showed it on television, they didn't even give us justice. Like, we were so far ahead. I was high-fiving the guys. We won it. It's all over. And then in the puzzle, we lost. So we have the brawn. Like, that's even with John gone, we still had the brawn. And even with Brad gone, we still have the brawn. Like, who do they have? They have Aras, Tyson, and Jervis. Tyson's injured. Jervis isn't in great shape. My brother's the biggest threat. And I still have me and Hayden and Caleb. Like, we're still strong guys. So we have brawn to spare at that point. So I wasn't really worried that we were voting out guys. I mean, Survivor is not really a game about physicality. It's a game about trust and alliances. So I don't care if our numbers get dwindled down. For me, it doesn't matter if I can beat somebody in arm wrestling. It's who trusts me and who thinks I'm a guy that they want to work with. So I don't really care if John's gone.
So you feel stronger allegiances with these women that are left there.
To be honest, I feel like I have pretty.
Because you guys started voting out your own alliance. Like that's what I mean. Like, there was, because John was in your alliance.
Yeah, that's that was a lot of Brad. For me, I would never want to be somebody in an alliance that gets pegged as the guy who's voting out his own alliance.
Yeah.
Because if we're together and you see that I'm voting out one of us, then you're going to think I'm going to do it to you as well.
See, and I think that's what Hayden went through last week when Hayden was really torn about it, because he knows, after having played Big Brother, which that's, we're big Brother fans here on the Baub Show. Mm-hmm. So we pay very big attention to that, what it means to be in an alliance. And certainly it was his alliance that got him through Big Brother. Like, that was what carried him all the way to the top. And unfortunately, even unless if there's like some real dissension, like you always stick within your alliance, because that's how you prove, okay, I can trust this guy that I'm aligned with. And I felt like that was sort of like, I thought that was sort of Brad's big mistake last week, was sort of turning on John, and again so quickly.
Do you think it has helped you because you are such a fan of the show and you've watched so many seasons that it helped your strategy to go in there and know how to play the game?
Oh, of course. You know, somebody who hasn't watched Survivor that much, like, really doesn't know how the dynamics of the game are going to unfold. And Brad is such a go-getter. Like, he's just a live wire. He's always thinking. He's always strategizing. He just played his hand too early, you know?
Yeah.
Like, John was
I totally agree.
John was at the bottom of the 5. He was going to be the first of the 5 guys to go, but why so early? And at that point, it's also too early for me to go against Brad. You know, I still want him to think that he's the leader. You're calling the shots. Like, just let him be the leader. And if he wants to call that shot, it's kind of early for me to go against that and really fight for John, because John's not that important to my game.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. I mean, you know, strike me down, and you do not have to watch Glee tonight, by the way. Where are you in this season? What part of the world?
We're in the northern Philippines, like the very most northern part in the South China Sea.
So just so remote.
Now, even if you wanted to be a tourist and go out there, it'd be very difficult to find this island.
Right, exactly. And where does the crew stay? That's literally where I go. I'm a crazy person when I think about it.
Well, we're not really allowed to interact with the crew. So even those of us that get voted out, or, you know, whether you stay or get voted out, whatever, you still have to, the cast is a cast, the crew is the crew.
So where are honestly,
they don't know.
Where are the cameras? You don't know where the cameras are.
No, they know. The cameras, there's a camera guy following you.
Camera guys everywhere.
There's this base camp where all the 300 plus crew members stay.
Are there.
And they build it, and they're there for the 2 months that we shoot or whatever, and they're just doing their partying and drinking,
right,
working,
oh my
and
God,
surfing,
drinking, and you're like, dudes, I'm literally eating centipedes here. My God,
just to try and stay alive. What did you think about this? People in the chat room were asking, and I'm dying to know too. What did you think about last week, Colton quitting?
Someone quit.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Second time playing quit.
I had never met Colton. We don't get to meet each other pregame, and we're on separate tribes. So I don't know this guy. All I know is Caleb, who's a great guy, and I love his fiance. But Colton quitting for me was real simple. There's just better chance for me to win the $1 million. One less person I have to compete with.
See, I love it. Here's what's so great, because everything that I'm thinking is from the perspective of a viewer, and I love that you think you are in the game. Yeah. Like, even right now, like, I love your thinking, like, that I wouldn't even realize. I'd be like, oh, I'm so mad at you because you just quit this game. Do you know how many thousands of people have auditioned and would kill to have this opportunity? And you're just acting like a big baby, and you just quit because, oh wow, things got too hard. That's where my brain's going, and you're so smart. You're like, fine by me, one more person out of my way. Like,
yeah. Well, as soon as he started talking about it, immediately my mind goes to, he said, I'm thinking about quitting. Before he actually quit, he comes talking about just the idea of, and in my head, I'm like, fucking quit.
Yeah.
Just quit. Go quit. Like, do this. Like, I don't,
But that makes, again, he probably knows that makes good television, that's going to make it to the cut of, then the dynamic of how they're editing it together. If you had seen this,
Romy, I don't think he was thinking about cameras, because he literally climbed on his boyfriend's lap like it was Santa Claus.
Oh no!
It was pretty humiliating. It wasn't a watch me throw this temper tantrum for the camera and they're gonna love it. It was this person had a meltdown.
Yeah, he did. He did have a meltdown, and it is true. But as far as getting on the show, just being cast, it's such a long journey. The casting process, getting ready, leaving your life for 2 months, and there are tens of thousands of people that want to be on the show, and I feel so lucky to have gotten to play the game. And for him to throw that opportunity away, it's a little bit disrespectful. But as far as I was concerned, then it's like, all right, dude, leave, and I'm gonna have a better shot at winning this thing now.
I love that. So this season is called Blood versus Water, and I have to say, you really are one of my favorites. I'm rooting for you, and obviously you can't tell me, and I don't want you to tell me because you'll break my heart if anything goes wrong. But I love the dynamic with you and your brother. I don't know why. I love that whole idea, because I can really tell that you and your brother love each other. You and your brother also have a tumultuous past, which we'll get to here in a second. But there's also, when two people love each other that way, there's so much more room to get to really explore the relationship. And so you guys it's a perfect opportunity to get to be on separate teams and to sort of get to go to war at each other, because you still, there's so much love there that you don't have to worry about offending the other person, but you can really give it your all. And I love that was that scene last week when you guys were on that water. You were in the water. They were literally on a stand in the water, and whoever could push the first one off.
Oh.
And push them off into the water, which seems like a simple little competition. But there were situations like there was the mother having to push her daughter off the thing, like, you know what I mean? Like there's all these husband having to push off his wife and stuff. But the real emotional one was watching you and your brother, because you could just there was just years and years of brother relationship, brother fights, brother.
What's the age difference?
We're about 18 months apart.
So it's close.
Like 19, 20 months apart. We're very close in age. Aras has always been a little bit bigger and stronger. He's been, he was a college athlete, and so it was this hand-to-hand combat fight. And going into it, I was just hoping.
Is he older or younger?
He's younger than I am.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote for the yoga instructor over the college athlete any day of the week. No, I mean just for absolute strength.
I appreciate your vote of confidence, but I lost.
Did?
Yes.
Damn it! That's what. See, that's why I am where I am.
But what happened?
Grounded one.
What was interesting was that
I would have agreed. I would have agreed with you.
It took a really long time. It was just back and forth, and it was what they didn't show in the episode was it was best out of 3, and they only showed one fight because there's not time to show best out of 3.
Yeah.
And at one point, he kind of lets me get up. He's like, "All right, get up." And I cheap shotted him really hard. He was like, "Okay, get up." And from the ground,
you got in trouble for that cheap shot. By the way,
but it worked. It worked, and I pushed him into the water. But they didn't show that because they can only show him one person going into the water. And the truth is that in the second 2 rounds, he came back and beat me twice. So what they did was they edited it together. So me giving him the cheap shot and him not falling in, and then me falling in later. So not only did I cheap shot him, and then on air it didn't really work.
Oh yeah.
Which is very unfortunate for me because
so
now I even look worse.
In real life, the cheap shot worked.
Yeah, in real life, I cheap shotted him and he fell off, and he was even more angry, and he came back and won the next 2.
And then
but on the show, I cheap shotted
adrenaline.
him, and it didn't work. It wasn't strong enough, and he came back and pushed me.
Right. Oh my god. What's the weirdest creature that you've seen on the island? I mean, creepy crawly. I'm not good with this.
Well, there's a lot of scorpions, a lot of centipedes. Sea snakes are kind of weird,
Okay, got me
Stop
done.
it.
I'm done.
Like
I'm
you're in
done.
the-
I am.
wait, yeah,
I'm a
like-
Scorpio, so I mean, I think I relate to them. Yeah. But the slippery slide, I can't do it.
Yeah, wait, you're out in the ocean and there's snakes just.
Yeah,
going?
sea snakes. These little, blue and black sea snakes are getting through you.
Can't do it.
And they're
literally
very
can't do it.
poisonous. But before the show starts, they give us a day of like survivor school to make sure we understand. Here are the plants that are poisonous. Here are the plants you can eat. Here are the fish that are poisonous. Here are the fish you can eat. Just to kind of prep us so we don't kill ourselves out there.
I would want a book, by the way. I wouldn't want just like a one-day crash course. I would want a book that I could carry around with a diagram, because I would not remember. Like, now was that the one I can eat, or is that the one I can't eat?
It's always erring on the side of caution, really. But the one thing they prepped us about, they said, you really have to be careful about the snakes. And there's cobras and king cobras and spitting cobras. If you see a snake, run the other direction.
I mean, because I'm bad. I mean, one of my dogs got a garden snake, and I literally see her like pat, and I was like, whoa, I ran upstairs. I got my husband. I'm like, she got a snake. And then he ran down. I mean, it was a
worm.
Small. It was so small. And then she bit off the head, and the body was flapping. Like, I am not. I've jumped out of planes. Like, I'm good. You're bleeding. I will reach in there and I will pull out your organ that's bleeding. I will, and I'll stitch it right back up. But if there's a snake anywhere near you, you are so on your own. Sorry. Peace out. Can't do it.
Can't do it. Snakes do freak me out.
They freak me out too.
Of all the things it's an unexplained phobia that I have of snakes, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's the
way they
out,
move. It's everything they do.
They
I
molt.
completely agree.
They literally molt. They shed their skin.
I completely
All
agree.
in one.
Oh
God. It's gone off to an ugly place. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, a little. I want to take one quick break, and then I want to come back because I want to talk about your backstory with your brother, and I think you have a very interesting. You have a lot of interesting stuff going on with you. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back, and there'll be more with our guest Vytas from what is this, like the 27th? 27th season of Survivor. Yeah, it hasn't been on 27 years, Romy. Don't worry.
2 a year.
27. They do 2 a year.
Yeah.
Everybody stop yelling at me. Jesus. Well, I mean, I was just saying. Just because I don't.
We'll be right back.
What were you thinking with Aaron and Scott? The show that gets to the core of all the bull. Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Tune in each week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. following The Baub Show on ubnradio.com. Pure Polino, culinary culture, astrology, and so much more. Pure Polino on ubnradio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? This is Tyler Hilton.
Hi, this is Julia Sweeney.
Hi, this is Dee Dee Khan.
This is Tracy Spiridakis from Revolution.
Hi, this is Guy Pearce, and you're listening to The Baub Show.
Hi, this is Frangela.
This is Stone Cold AT.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Mitchell, and you're listening to The Baub Show with my beautiful friend Bob.
Come on, girls. Let's go to The Baub Show.
And now, here's Bob! Welcome back to the show, and I've got... for everybody out there watching our live stream right now and wondering where Romy's chair has gone to, she has gone off to put some more money in the meter because she insisted on parking this morning at a parking meter. So long to Romy. But my guest is Vytas from the 27th season of Survivor, and you're playing with your brother. But you've had an interesting past. So you've been very candid about it on the show that you were a heroin addict. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
It is. It's also, I'm much more multidimensional than just an ex-heroin addict.
Of course.
It's obviously the interesting part that that the producers on the show kind of want to highlight about my past.
Yeah.
But it's true. I did have a really dark past, and when I was a teenager, I was shooting dope and living on the street, and it was really tough for me. And what happened with that in the context of the relationship with my brother is that we never connected when we were kids. I kind of bullied him before then, and then once I got into my addiction, we didn't spend any time together at all. I would just basically steal his stuff and help him look for it.
Yeah.
That was kind of what our relationship consisted of. So, there's still a lot of resentment on his part toward me. Like when we get in a fight, like even today, like a couple days ago we got into a fight. For me, it's what we're fighting about right now. And for Aras, it's 10 years of injustice. It's a lot. And our relationship, it's still, it still takes a lot of work sometimes to move past some of that stuff from the past.
And because of course I love to focus on the positive stuff, I want to talk about how you got your life together. What was your turning point? Because especially heroin is one of the darker things that we can, as human beings, can do to ourselves, and a lot of people unfortunately don't pull through that. How did you? And you now have a yoga studio. You teach yoga. Like you're rocking it on Survivor. You're a very likable guy. How did you turn that corner? What was your moment?
You're right. Most people that I know don't make it out of heroin addiction. I feel very, very fortunate. What saved me was getting arrested. I was living on the street. Both my parents had kicked me out of the house. My mom even wrote me out of the will at that point. Nobody was going to take me in. I could pretty much burn every bridge. And I got arrested. I robbed some lady at an ATM machine, and I went to jail for a year. And I spent a year in LA County Jail, and it was completely awful.
You spent a full year.
Well, I got sentenced to a year, and I did 8.5 months in there. And I just remember, this little 19-year-old white kid from the West Side in Supermax LA County Jail, and it was awful. And I could almost say it scared me straight, because I met guys that were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, like, oh, I remember the first time I went to jail. I was 19 too. And look where they are now, and they just keep recycling through the criminal justice system. So for me, it was very eye-opening, like, wow, like this is really where it took me. I never thought it would quite take me there. I always had that better than heroin addict thing, like, well, I'm not as bad as that guy, and I could look at that guy in the gutter.
I still have my teeth. Yeah,
totally. I'm all good,
Yeah.
And but I was really lucky to get arrested, and it's weird to say that, but after I got arrested, I went into treatment. I had been to treatment before, but just sort of my experience having gone through jail, like, really kind of gave me the motivation to want to work on myself that much more. And I feel fortunate that it kind of worked, and I've stuck with it, and I've stayed clean, and I have over 14 years clean at this point.
Wow.
And my life is just amazing, like how it turned around. And it's not because I'm better than any other junkie out there. It's not because God likes me more, whatever you want to call it, but
you put in the work.
Yeah.
But you put in. It's interesting because I worked last year with Robert Downey Jr. and it's so people don't realize. I mean, he still has to work on it even today. But I think that was his turning point too. Was he spent 3 years in jail, and people forget that. People forget that he was, talk about down on your luck. This thing has nothing to do with how much money or fame or anything that you have. We are all human beings, and and what you do to yourself is what you do to yourself, and nothing else can fix that. And I'm pretty sure, because he had been in and out, as we all knew, his was very public. He had gone in and out, and nothing was working. And I think it was him spending 3 years in prison, where you certainly have no access to it, and and something finally sort of clicks in your brain. But it's also doing the work. And I feel like the work is what always gets left out of the conversation, because people don't realize it is a decision every single day. But that's the same for all of us. It's a decision whether or not I get up every morning and I'm going to allow myself to spend all day eating cake and gaining 500 pounds, because that's my addiction. My addiction is definitely food.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, and but I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision to try to stay at the weight that I'm at, so that I don't balloon up to 500 pounds. I already struggle with that, let alone trying to actually put myself on a diet to lose weight. But it's every single day is a decision. And I think that's so important that people remember that, and that it is work. And every day of our lives is work, and especially if you've gone through something as deep and dark as that, that you're still working on it. How was yoga one of the things? When did yoga come into your life?
So I got out of jail and I went to treatment, and then when I got out of treatment, I was back at home, and like you said, I was doing the work. I was really basically committing my life at that point to my recovery, because I had no idea how to live life on life's terms. So, just learning how to live clean, surrounding myself with people that were clean and sober, and some girls I knew from high school were like, why don't you come to yoga with us? Come to yoga. And I was so not into yoga. I was, that whole tie-dye, chakra, tofu eating thing was not going to be for me. And they kept bugging me, and I had heard that yoga was good for back pain. And my back, after a couple of years of heroin addiction, wasn't feeling that great. So they dragged me to this yoga class, and it wasn't that bad. And I was kind of feeling it. And I started to go a little bit. Like the first couple of years I was doing yoga, I'd go once or twice a week, and I'd, still go to the gym and then go to yoga. And then it was only, I think, once my brother got into yoga. So Aras saw me doing yoga. He'd seen me doing it for a few years, and he saw that it was having benefits for me. He said, you know what? I want to start doing yoga, because he had been playing college basketball, and his body was wrecked from that. And so he really started getting into it, and we're so competitive that I saw him really getting it. I'm like, how dare you?
Oh, really?
How
really?
dare
Because
you make this your thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yoga was mine.
Yeah.
This is my.
I will hold that pose to till Christmas. That's what I'm gonna do.
So you decided to become a teacher?
No, so I decided just to practice more and more. And when I finished, and at that point I was back in school, and I finished grad school, and I had some, I had worked through grad school, so I had some money saved up. And my yoga teacher was doing a teacher training in Mexico. It was basically 3.5 weeks in Tulum, with 50 people, probably 45 of which were going to be girls. And I was like, this is going to be great, girls in paradise and yoga.
Sign me up.
I didn't necessarily want to be a yoga teacher, but, through the experience, he really encouraged me. He said, you're going to be a great teacher. You really should be a teacher. And he kept pushing me. And I'm so grateful to him for that, because, my yoga career has just blossomed and unfolded in the last 8 years. And my classes are packed, and, people come practice with me every day. And I feel so lucky to be able to teach yoga, because it really has been a transformative part of my recovery. Mm-hmm. I'm not clean from heroin because of yoga, and I really want people to understand that yoga, doing some downward dogs, not make me stop shooting dope. That's really, the work was not in the yoga, but yoga really helped me to learn tools to clean my body, to cleanse my body, and to quiet my mind and to clear my mind.
It's a new sense of purpose, because don't you kind of feel like that's when you're in your dark spot, you're losing your sense of purpose. You're sort of losing your sense of intention of why am I here? You kind of, because you just kind of take things for granted.
Well, there's so many things in that dark spot, and I did lose my sense of purpose. And yoga, I wouldn't necessarily gave me that sense of purpose, but it removed all the bull out of the way. It just removed all the crap that wasn't me. It really brought me back in touch with myself, and allowed me to have a much more authentic experience, where I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, what is my purpose for today? What is my higher purpose? Instead of, I'm going to get loaded. Who can I rob? Who can I steal from? And in sobriety, it's not that those feelings are gone with drugs. It's like you said, what can I eat? What can I eat?
Yeah.
What can I eat? Who can I have sex with? Who can I have sex with? It's like food, sex. What can I buy? What can make me feel better? What can fix me? And yoga really helped bring me out of that wanting place of like, because I just always wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. And yoga really helped me just feel good and okay in my own skin.
It's a practice versus, a lot of people will be envious of someone's body because they do a lot of yoga. But a person who does a lot of yoga, it's a way of life. It's a practice. It's not like going to the gym. At least that's been my experience. And to show it, like I have a very, very busy mind. I'm a Pilates enthusiast, and I found that though I was doing Kundalini, and I'd be the person literally like with one eye open going, when is this breath of fire done? Because let's just wrap this up. And but I loved power yoga because that was something that was so physically challenging that it had to quiet my mind.
Yeah, the intensity brings you present. It brings you into that present moment, no matter what's going on in your mind. That intensity just takes you into the here and now.
You have to. I mean, in order to do it, and that's why I think it is more of a practice than just going out and doing what a lot of people do, which is just it is my form of exercise.
Well, and it's because I was gonna say because it's a full mind body. Jeff Schroeder's experiencing that. Jeff's normally here on Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays.
I literally thought you were pointing at me going, I'm that talented that I am both Romy Rosemont and Jeff Schroeder.
No, but Jeff's been going through that because yoga's for girls kind of thing. Like that's he's from Chicago. He's got all that going for him, and but he's loving going to yoga. Because of this, because he's having the full experience, and I love yoga. I stopped going to yoga because there's a 4x4 that prevents me from touching my toes. But I am teaching aerobics. Thank you very much. But there is there's yoga is an amazing thing because it really, at the end of a yoga class, not only is your body sore and tired and your muscles are stronger, but your mind is clear. If you've done it properly, it's a really wonderful full mind-body experience.
For lack of a better word, you're a little high.
You are.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it because I love getting high.
Yeah.
There you have it. Where can people take your class?
Well, I teach at 2 places in Santa Monica. My home studio is Power Yoga East, which is this cool little space, up this, little narrow stairwell above a Radio Shack that opens up into this really cool old dance studio where Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers used to practice back in the day.
Oh, nice.
And that's our yoga studio now. And then I also recently started teaching at this great place called Yoga Works in Santa Monica.
I love Yoga
Works. Which has a ton of history.
I think that's where Jeff goes.
They have a ton. I mean, they're now all over. I mean, they have majorly franchised.
It's an honor to teach there because some of the best teachers in the world teach at Yoga Works, and to know that like they wanted me to teach there and my classes are doing great there. Like really just, I feel so fortunate to be a part of the faculty at Yoga Works.
Oh, that's so great. Do you think you would ever open up your own yoga studio?
I don't know. It's a lot of work, man. I don't know. I'm into that kind of work.
I know people don't realize that.
Yeah, it's a business. I mean, you become a business owner, so you have to balance all of that and pay the employees and all turning the lights on kind of thing.
Yeah.
I walk into a room full of people. I say hi, and we get the party started. And when it's done, that's it, and I walk away. I don't have to deal with the admin stuff.
I love that. Well, I look forward to you spending the next couple months on my television.
I look forward to it too. We'll see how many of those months I last.
I'm hoping you make it all the way till the very, very, very end. Because, like I said, I've enjoyed seeing you on there, and we'll have you back afterwards when we can really ask all the real questions because there's 100 questions that I really want to ask.
I'm not even going to be here, but like, yes.
Can you give me like a teaser of a question that so I can be prepared?
Well, no, I mean, I just always like to. It's sort of like as it all unfolds, and I don't want I don't like any spoilers. I know I'm sure if I look over in the chat room, everyone's probably asking questions like, ask him about this and ask him about that. I really like things to unfold, so because I think that's part of why we watch the storytelling. When I read a book, I love a good book, but I don't want to jump to the end of the book. So I don't know. I don't know.
I do love a good coming attraction though.
Yeah,
I do.
Oh, see, I don't.
Oh, I love
coming attractions. I love the concept. Like I love to be teased.
Right.
But I don't like when they give away any details, and a lot of times
teased.
these days they give away too many details. So that's why, like, if you notice, every time I even talk to him about like, I want to see you go to the end, I look down at my monitor. I won't even.
You don't want to read him.
I won't even look into his eyes so that there's. I don't even want to know that there's even a chance that he's going home anytime.
You're not going to get anything from me.
Good. I don't want it. We've got everything that I wanted today. We're going to have you back. Thank you so much. And you can follow you on Twitter at Vytas Yoga, Vytas. Do you think, are you going to add like Survivor to that to try to get more followers, or are you just going to stick?
No, I mean, for now, I mostly just tweet about Survivor, but I do want to start talking more about my yoga practice, and at least in the context of like how it helped me in Survivor and how it helps me in my day-to-day life. So I'm pretty new to the Twitter world, and
I'm same.
I really don't understand it.
No, me neither. Yeah. I
It serves its function.
And maybe you can give me a little bit of a tutorial after this.
Happily, it serves as a function. I would say you would be smart to make sure you pop up the Survivor stuff right now, so that you get a lot of followers. So that and then once Survivor's done, then you go back to making it all yoga. So that way you have all of those people following you, because that's what you want. You want to have the
followers.
Yeah. I know. It's a tough thing.
I can't bake cookies for everyone's followers, and that's what I feel compelled to do. When someone follows me, I'm like, God damn it!
Because you know you have them there with you. You want them to be good to you. You guys check out Glee tonight. Romy Rosemont will be on there saying goodbye to her TV son Finn Hudson, Corey Monteith. So definitely tune into that, and then definitely check out Bitter Party of 5 on YouTube, and you can follow them
or Blip TV.
Blip TV, that's right. You're going on Blip TV now too, which is very very exciting. And you can follow her on Twitter at Romy Rosemont. And if you're in the Santa Monica, Los Angeles area, go take one of Vytas's yoga classes.
If you dare.
There's a website to find your yoga classes, isn't there?
VytasYoga.com.
VytasYoga.com, and it's VYTAS. What is that?
That's my name.
No, I know that part. But is it Russian?
Lithuanian. Yeah.
Wouldn't have picked up on that one. You guys, thank you so much for listening. It's been a great week. On Monday, Keaton Simons is going to be in here playing music for us. We're very excited about that, to have him back. Jeff Schroeder will be here on Monday as well. You can follow us on Twitter at The Baub Show. You can go to our website, thebobshow.com, that I have not updated in forever because I've been too busy. Stay tuned. Pure Polino is up next. And have a great week. Oh, no, don't have a great weekend.
Nope.
I've just lost my mind. I totally forgot about the power outage yesterday. We are live tomorrow morning. Right. You guys don't go anywhere. Come back tomorrow morning. We're going to be live right here on UBN Radio. And then we'll talk about Keaton Simons on Monday. I totally forgot about that.
I know, it's okay.
I'm an amazing radio host. No wonder I have so many people just loving me from afar. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning.